Hi Libra, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings, and this week we're actually doing the monthly readings. Okay, so looking ahead at September, what is in store for your month? Making sure we do subscribe to the channel if we're not already. Not only do I really appreciate that, but it does enable you to stay up to date with the other readings as well. Which I have just uploaded an all signs money reading, so the most recent all signs video there all about money. And then I will have some September overview videos in regard to love at the end of the week as well. So definitely keep an eye out for those. Now, today I am doing things a little bit differently. Today I am using two decks, but I have actually combined them this week. This is a two decks that are a paired deck. There is also a tarot deck, but I am only using the Oracle, which is the Earthbound Oracle. It looks like that with the Lenormand deck, the Seeker's Lenormand blended through. Okay, so I am using those as a combined deck so that we've got, lots of cards to sort of clarify everything for us this week. But looking at September for you, Libra. Libra, what's going on for Libra throughout September? Starting off, theme of the month, a bit of an overview for Libra. What's going on for Libra in September? Okay, and your energy, Libra, past, present, future, your energy throughout September, please. Ooh. And what's challenging Libra throughout September? The challenge for Libra in September. We have the advice for Libra and the hidden energy for Libra as well. Okay, so starting off here, Libra, we have, the theme, the overview of the month for you. It's pretty straightforward messages for you, at this point in the month. As your overview, we do have the permanence card coming through, as well as wealth. All right, so this month is really going to see you looking at, long-term wealth, long-term money, long-term, what makes me feel fulfilled in my life, what makes me feel like I have everything I could ever dream of, what makes me feel like I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I have it all, kind of thing. And how do I keep that, the permanence of that, the longer term wealth, longer term abundance, how to create this sort of nest egg for myself that is, providing long term, not just today, not just tomorrow, but forever, kind of thing, that it's not going to go anywhere. That, so some of you may be looking into investments and things like that this month as well. Your energy itself, Libra, we do see your past energy here with the cross. Okay, so in the past here, you have been very, fiscally responsible is coming through, but you have been very, burdened by, the weight of wealth, the weight of not having wealth permanence that you want, the responsibility to. I do feel this kind of day-to-day kind of energy where, wealth in the past maybe has felt a little bit more, I've just got to keep hoping. I've just got to keep having faith that it'll work out and, making things work out on a day-to-day, week-to-week kind of basis rather than this permanent kind of basis, knowing that I've got it under control long term. It's felt like a bit of a burden, a bit of a responsibility to try to do this for yourself in the past. That, that there's been a big faith aspect. Like, I've just got to have faith that it's going to work out. I've just got to, trust that it's going to work out somehow. Even if I don't know how, I've just got to trust that it's going to work out. I've got to be responsible with my money. I've got to, and I'm actually burdened by my money because it's, I've just got to be faithful that I can make it all last, that kind of thing. Where we are sort of seeing now that your present energy is you know, not necessarily looking at just here right now what's going on money wise. We do see time coming through, so it's this balance of time, this balance of, I want to start thinking about permanence. I want to start thinking about ways that I can, make permanent changes so that I don't have to feel so burdened, so on the spot, so having, so much of this, I just have to have faith that it's going to work out kind of energy. I want, I need the time to find ways to know that it's working out rather than having to have faith that it's going to work out. Um, I need a bit more permanence of that energy rather than having faith. I need it. It's kind of like, instead of having faith, I want a bit of proof is kind of what it feels like here with that time energy, that you're kind of like, well, now is the time I really need to get on top of this and put in the hard work. We can kind of even see here the time is sitting on top of a mountain here. Yes, time is an achievement, and that I've got time to do this, but also it's sitting on top of that mountain where it takes work, it takes effort to climb a mountain, and when we get to the top, then yes, we have that achievement. So you know that you can do this, you know that you've got this under your control in some way, shape or form, and it's kind of only just now that you've had the time to really consider this in a permanent solution kind of a way, rather than to just deal with it when it pops up. That time is a little bit more of importance to you now, that, well, I need to put money away for a rainy day, so that tomorrow I don't have to have hope that it's just going to work out. I'll know that I have the money for that in the future. So you are sort of moving into a little bit more, the way that you're perceiving it is just changing a little bit, and you're willing to put in a little bit more hard work so that you've got a little bit more permanence when it comes to feeling fulfilled in your life, and especially financially. It does feel like for a lot of you this is very financially connected. The future position, we do have the heart. Okay, so, relying on support, having the support of, people that love and support you and love you unconditionally, regardless of whether you're rich or poor or whether you have this permanence or not. You have this love in yourself, love for yourself, and love surrounding you, to know that you've got this, and that, that this, you have this wealth around you in the future energy of love. It's a love energy. It's changing the, the money is not money, it's love. Okay, your biggest, what's the word, currency is love, and that's what is actually most important to you here, and you are realizing that, but you're wanting to, that's why you're wanting the wealth side of things, the financial side of things, to have this more permanence to it, so that you can then go and focus more on the love in your life, the things that you love, and doing things that you love without having to worry about the financial component to those. Okay. The biggest challenges for you this month is, um, the ceremony card coming through here. So there definitely may be somebody else that thinks about things a little bit differently to the way that you see things. You can kind of see the black candle and the white candle joined here. This does usually, the ceremony card, it really does bring to light themes of, like, it's kind of like that two people standing at the altar, committing to each other. A wedding, for example, as a ceremony is the wedding, but it's two people joining in some way to stay committed to each other, to support each other, to, and that may be challenging you at the moment, because there's somebody else that you're relying on here. There's somebody else's support, somebody else that, there does seem to be somebody else that you're committed to that is actually creating a little bit of a challenge for you this month, because I'm just kind of feeling it's like you may be sort of looking at, you may be looking at things like, money is white, and they're looking at things as though money is black. money may be more important I feel like it would be the other person than it is to you. And you're kind of like, well, money is just a means to an end. Money is just a means to do all the things that I love, but they're kind of more along the lines of, well, I love the money. I just want the money, the money, the money. So there is a bit of a challenge here in staying committed to each other and staying committed to each other's perspectives, as well as taking all their perspectives on board as well as your own, and including that in, this permanence that they look at things very black and white, you look at things more grey, those kinds of things that there may just be two different points of view. One of you is black and one of you is white thinking very, very clearly here that, so we're trying to compromise a little bit here. And so the challenge is to, compromise. We also see reflection is a bit of a challenge for you this month as well. So I do feel as though that's coming from this other person more than anything, that they reflect upon times when they haven't felt that wealth, permanence especially, and it kind of brings up a lot of fear in them that you thinking certain ways in, black and white or grey, whereas they think black and white. They reflect upon times when that has actually created issues for them. And, I am picking up something very specific here about the way that their parents did something, and they're reflecting upon, their childhood and the outcomes and the impact that had upon them as a child, because their parents did things a certain way, and they're just sort of, it's fear. Okay, it feels like fear, totally just their fear coming into play here. But it's kind of like they're worried about the past repeating itself, and they're reflecting upon the way that things have changed, and the way that things haven't changed. And it scares them because they don't see the vision that you see. They don't see the permanence that you're trying to create here. And they don't have the same understanding of this that you do. So this may create a bit of a challenge for you this month, Libra. The advice for you here, this is kind of a bit of a warning in the advice here. We do have the toxic card coming through, as well as the voice. So your advice is to be very aware of this. Pardon. Because once again, I do see you're dealing with somebody else in this situation as well. You're not the only, it's not that you're creating wealth for yourself. There's somebody else involved here, whether this is a partner, a flatmate, a potential partner, a child, a parent, whatever this is in your particular situation. You need to be very, very careful about the way that you speak to this person. That there's something here about it. I'm not saying that you are toxic in the way that you speak to this person, but there's certain things that they perceive as toxic from the way that you speak to them. Once again, because of this reflection, because of their fears, and because of, maybe a parent, when they were a child, a parent spoke a certain way, and that has left this imprint on them that if they hear a certain phrase, to them that's toxic, because that's exactly what my mother used to say, and that was always bad, so it's that kind of thing. So there is something that's being perceived as something toxic that you're saying, or the way that you're saying something, it is being perceived as toxic. I kind of feel that you're not intending it to be that way, but with the toxic card, we do see the mushrooms here, and when we're looking at mushrooms and fungi, we need to remember that they're working together. It's not working individually, it's working together. So it's, using your voice to, instead of be toxic, to clear toxicity, and to, be speak up about their toxicity if that's the case, and allow them to speak up about what they feel is toxicity from you, and making a conscious effort to avoid that. But definitely for a lot of you here, Libra, making a conscious effort to voice anything that you see as toxic. Okay, so if something is poisoning, you know, poisoning the connection, poisoning the finances, that you do need to speak up about that, and be vocal about that, and compromise with this person about that, sort of thing. The subconscious energy, the hidden energy we have for you here, we do have the gift. Once again, another card that does talk about abundance, and we also have life, which once again another card that is referring to, abundance, and the strength of things that you're seeing within your main energy there. So that you, it's kind of like you're being given this gift to really move things forward and to achieve these goals that you have in creating permanence and in wealth, in abundance around yourself here, that you've been given like all the knowledge that you need to grow this into what you need it to be. We do see here that you've kind of got, you can see that the gift here, the apple, has the little seeds on the ground in front of it. So it's like planting the seeds to gain the wealth and the permanence of that wealth that you're after. Then we do see with the life card, it is a seed that is starting to sprout. So you're planting those seeds, and then you're enabling them to grow. So it's kind of letting us know here that this is just the first steps of the process. It's just planting the seeds of this process, and planting the seeds of this growing into something bigger in your energy here. So it's definitely important to voice any concerns about any toxicity, any anything that's going to turn that growth off, anything that's going to stop that from growing. We need to address it now when those seeds are being planted, before it becomes a problem. So it's very important to address those issues, especially this issue that seems to be here, with getting on the same page with somebody else. But once again, it's coming a lot from their fear. It's kind of this energy of, you may not even understand that too. I'm picking up here for some of you that this fear that they're coming from, it's because they had a different life to what you had, up until now. So they may have some, issues around money scarcity when they were a child and things like that, or not being able to have certain things when they were a child. And so that you may see that they spend money recklessly, as an example there, but to them it's like, I've got to spend it because otherwise it'll get taken from me. They may just have a total, you've got to understand that it's all about understanding where these things are coming from, and that's why it's important to talk about the toxic aspects of this between each other, so that we can actually, rather than them reflecting and being fearful by themselves, that we can actually, commit to reflecting upon those things together, and then you can actually voice your opinions and help them change that fear into something positive for the both of you, and vice versa, taking their opinions and things on board as well. All right. But that's what we have for you today, Libra. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all again soon.